Hello and welcome to the Opinions That Change podcast. I'm the host Ashlyn and I am joined today by my lovely husband, my favorite guest of all time.
Going round 2 on this one.
Yeah, we spent an entire hour recording this podcast only to realize that we started all 3 cameras and never started the audio. So here we are recording it for a second time, and I'm praying that hopefully this one goes better, and that's some reason why we had to start over. I don't know, but
I feel like the last one was pretty good.
I know, it was really good, and now I'm bugged. It's fine. It's just gonna get even better. So it's gonna be great. Okay, today we're talking all about living in a trailer as a family of 6. Because if you didn't know, we did that from April of 2023 to October of 2024. So we were in it for about a year and a half. We have 4 kids, and they were ages 1 to 5 at the time. So yeah, we're going to talk all about it because we get lots of questions about it. So we thought we'd start off by talking about why we moved into a trailer. And I will maybe answer that one, and then
I can follow up.
You can go into all the nitty-gritty details.
Let's do it.
So we had kind of a financial setback happen. Well, wait. Let's back up. I have wanted to move into a trailer for years and years and years. And so we had a financial setback kind of happen, and we're going to do a whole podcast episode deep diving into that. So we're not going to go into all those details on this episode, but it's important for this part of the story. So it kind of hit us in December of 2022. But a year before that, his family owns this property, and we had gone up to it and we had looked at it, and I was like, should we move here in a trailer? And Waylon was like,
no.
Heck no.
Not happening.
He was like,
4 kids and a small camper for...
He was like, no way, Jose. And I've always been like, I just always like new things and adventure. And I'm like, let's do it. It'll be so great. Anyways, it was not the time. So we kind of tabled it. And then when this financial thing hit, Waylon started applying to different jobs all over. And he happened to get a job interview up in Heber, which was where his family had this property. And you tell a little bit about that.
So at the time, yeah, like you said, I was looking for a job, and I had actually already gotten a job offer down in Springville, and so at that point I was really kind of set on that one, and then I randomly got a call from this opportunity up in Heber, and to be honest, I never even remember applying for it. I don't remember anything about it, but they called me. And I wasn't going to I almost didn't go. But I was like, I'll just follow through. I'll see what's going on. At the time, so this was December of 2022.
Well, the interview I think was in January, or maybe it was
it was December because I didn't. Yeah, it was December.
Yeah.
December I had the interview, and that day there was a blizzard, a big old snowstorm going up the canyon. So I was late to the interview. I was going up questioning why I even was going up there in the first place. I got in there, and by the end of it, I called Ashlyn after. I was like, maybe I do want this position. I really had a good feeling about that interview and about the job. I felt like it went really well. I felt like it fit what I wanted in a career. And so we were talking a little bit about it, and then halfway down the canyon, coming back from the interview, I got a call from that company saying that they wanted to hire me.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And this job was right next to the, and when I say right next to it, I mean you can see his work from where his parents owned this property.
It was a 30-second drive.
Yeah.
It was super quick. Or I could, bike or walk there, right?
Yeah.
Super, super close.
So close. So at this time I was like, oh my gosh, we just had this financial setback. You're getting a job up in Heber, which is like crazy expensive to live on, but your family owns this property that nobody's using, and it had like all the hookups, and I always wanted to like live in an RV, so I was like, this is our time to shine. And I think that was the moment when Waylon was like, okay, we'll do it. And
She convinced me.
That January, we started in 2023. We started looking for trailers.
Was it January? I thought we bought it. We bought it in December, I think.
I'm pretty sure we bought it.
Was it January?
Oh,
was it?
Anyways,
okay.
But so we started looking. We were like, we want 2 bedrooms at least, because obviously we want somewhere for our kids to be able to take naps or whatever, and we want a room for us. And so we started searching Facebook Marketplace. Finally found one.
Didn't know anything about fifth wheels or campers or anything like that.
Yeah, we didn't know anything. We were just going, and we looked at a few different ones, and we had just looked at one that was like $23,000, and we were like, it's a little more than we wanted, and because we were really trying to, like, this was the whole goal was to save money.
Yeah. And so if we're buying an expensive camper, I knew somewhat about how they depreciate really quickly. I was like, let's just buy something cheap. We don't even know if we want to do this for more than 2 months.
Yeah.
So.
And then we saw the one that we ended up getting, and the stars aligned, and his dad actually had a truck that could pull the camper, and so he came and was nice enough to pick it up, and then his brother was nice enough to store it at his house for 4 months while we were waiting till we could move on to the property, because we had to wait till all the snow melted. And so, yeah, we sold, like, all of our stuff, and we
literally had a garage sale in our house.
Yeah.
We put labels on all the furniture.
And we'll go into more details on her.
And sold everything.
Yeah. We had, like, some buckets of stuff, like games and different things that we ended up not selling, and there was, like, a little shop kind of thing on the...
It's like a 3-car shop on the property that we were able to store things in, and I was able to keep a lot of the tools I had in there and everything like that.
So we get up there, and then we got to hook everything up. And like I said, we know absolutely nothing about trailers or hooking anything up. And luckily, his dad and brother were so nice and came up there with us. And yeah, you can explain all the hooking up everything.
Yeah. So first thing was the power situation. There was power run to the pad that was on the site already. Because growing up, like, we went up there all the time. We had, like, tent trailers and stuff. We'd leave up there and we'd hook them up to power. But the breaker wasn't large enough for the camper that we needed, that we had. And so I had to run an underground conduit and cable from the breaker in the shop out to that pad so we could hook up the trailer with the power it needed.
Who just, like, does that? So. What?
It was pretty easy.
He's like, let me just run a conduit or whatever the heck you said. And
comparatively to everything else we had to do, that was the easy part. And then the sewer, luckily there was a septic on the property right there at the pad site, so we were able to hook directly to sewer, thank goodness. That would have been a nightmare to try to figure out if we didn't have sewer hookups.
For sure.
So that was pretty easy. Electrical was pretty easy. Water was a little bit more of a challenge. We didn't have water at the property. We had irrigation for the sprinklers.
Actually, going back to the power, I kind of remember, like, us flipping the breaker so many times at the beginning because we didn't realize that it needed so much. Do you remember that? Like, anytime I would have, like, the microwave going, or, like, all of a sudden the breaker would flip and I'd have to call you at work and be the breaker flipped and we don't have any power.
Oh, that happened all the time.
Yeah.
Well, that's because that was only during the summer when we were running the AC, and we would do the microwave and we'd do that other stuff.
Okay.
That would that would flip the breaker, but that had nothing to do. We swapped out the breakers before we even got the trailer.
Yeah. All right, keep going.
But yeah, that was a nightmare. We had a lot of times where it was like, 90 degrees outside and the power just shut off. And
you have to remember that you had to use power in order to even flush the toilet because it used a pump or something.
And you could flush the toilet,
but no water would go down.
Yeah, no water would go to fill it up. And if you don't have the water, then all the gases from the septic would come up, and
the poop just sick.
Okay, we're gonna talk dirty on this episode. And not in the way you think. It's going to be gross. I'll get into that. But anyway, so those were the easy parts. The hard part was the water. We didn't have any potable water or any water source on the property. So what we ended up doing, and I don't know how I came up with this idea, we got 3 of the 250-gallon tanks. 2 of them we put underneath the gooseneck in the trailer, and those 2 were linked together into one pump, and that pump would then pump the water into the trailer, and we just put the trailer on city water. So as long as the lines inside the trailer were pressurized, the pump would not continue. But then as soon as you turn on the water or flush the toilet, then that pump would kick on, and it would keep the pressure. If you
understand what he just said, congratulations, because I don't.
And so that actually worked really well, and I was actually really surprised that worked, because I just grabbed a random pump off Amazon and and we made it work.
We were just winging it.
And so that worked great. And then I had one tank in my truck that I would fill up. There was an RV resort just down the road that we would get water from. I think they were charging to fill up the tank. I could only fill it up halfway, or else it would be too heavy for my truck. But to fill it up halfway, they would charge me $5. And I think we went through 4 of those so $20 a week is roughly what we were able to do.
We went through 4 of the
4 half tanks.
Oh, half.
So
tanks.
2 full tanks usually a week is what we ran.
Okay, yeah.
But then I had a second pump where I'd bring the water back and I'd pump it from my truck into those tanks, and that's how we got water.
It was a whole process.
It was a whole process, and that was a learning process too, because we had issues along the way. During the winter, we had the risk of freezing, the lines freezing, so we got heated hoses. We had to put a thermometer in the tanks to keep the water from freezing. Not a thermometer, a heater in the tanks to keep it from freezing. In the summer, it was an issue, because Ashlyn loves this part. There was mold growth. The tanks were semi-transparent, so the UV rays, I guess, from the sun, I don't know the science behind it, but the sun would get in there and it would cause mold to grow inside the tanks. So I ended up purchasing these covers. They're like UV blocking covers that would go over the tanks, and that kept it from the mold from growing.
We had to scrub out all the tanks.
Scrubbed them out.
Oh my gosh.
Restart. Yeah, it was rough. So.
Guys, oh my gosh, so many learning curves.
So that's how we got started.
Okay, let's talk about laundry, because I get that a lot. How did you guys do laundry? Okay, so when we first got married, we also had an apartment that didn't have a laundry unit in it, and so we got one of those like little mini washers that you just hook up to your bathroom sink, and then it like drains in the toilet or whatever. Mm-hmm. So we were like, we could just do that. We could just hook it up to the RV sink. And yeah, so that's what we ended up doing. We got one of those. We put it in. We had 2 bathrooms in the trailer, so one of them we just converted into like a laundry room. And then we got like this mini dryer. But the thing about the dryer is it only like dried like 3 items at a time, which obviously when we first got married there was only 2 of us, and now there's 6 of us, and kids go through a lot of clothes. So we would often wash stuff and then hang dry it, or if we needed it fast, we would use the little dryer. But that also, like, we just would fall behind pretty quickly, so we a lot of times had to go to the laundromat or whatever, which, guys, the laundromat up there is just run by the cutest old man who, like, lived in the, and we would, like, talk to, anyways.
It was pretty fun.
He lived, like, right next to it, so we would often come in and we'd see him, and anyways, he was so cute and nice. And we heard all about his family, but anyways.
I would say, I would say that if I'm thinking about some of the hardest aspects of living in a camper, I think one of those would be laundry. I think that was one of the hardest aspects.
It was the biggest pain.
And I mean, just
honestly, we just hate laundry in normal life. Like, I complain about laundry every day, and we have a real washer and dryer now.
And I mean, we would hang dry our laundry, and we would just cover our trailer. Every drawer, every cupboard would be open, and laundry hanging over it.
I would cover the trampoline outside.
The trampoline,
I'd be hanging stuff around the trampoline. I'm like, what do our neighbors think? We're just over here.
Clothes everywhere, just drying. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we did that. And And then when we did move over to the RV resort during the winter, and they had a laundry unit in the resort. That was
really nice.
So, well, let's just talk
about... And actual showers. Do you want to talk about the showers?
Yeah, let's just talk about the RV resort now.
Okay, let's talk about the RV resort.
So, we knew we couldn't probably live... We had debated, like, oh, maybe we could put gravel down or do this or do that and make it work on the property. But ultimately, we just decided... we need to just move to the RV resort. This is going to be too much. We're already both overwhelmed. We were working several jobs at the time. And
that was great, I think, for just the aspect of, I think they refilled our propane every other day. And
you would set your propane out, and they would come pick them up and refill
so
them.
Nice.
We had water hookups at the RV resort, and you could just set your garbage outside your door, and they would come pick it up. Where before, Waylon was going to the dump
I would try to hold off as long as possible.
Yeah, so we would just have trash piling up, and then he would have to take dump runs.
Yeah, and so, I mean, I found other ways to dump it sometimes, but, I mean, a dump run is $20.
Yeah.
And so we're paying $20 every, couple times a week to dump our trash.
It was not a couple times a week. We would let...
Yeah. Ideally, it was supposed to be a couple times a week.
Or at least once a week.
Right.
Yeah. So the RV resort was really nice, though, because we met a lot of people that were also living in RVs. And it was fun because a lot of people had really cool stories because they were people who were traveling. So that was also hard because our kids would get attached to certain people and then they would leave and go to their next place. But it was kind of fun because they had like a clubhouse there. They had a pool there. The pool was closed, but the hot tubs were open. And then they had bathrooms with showers. And honestly, that was amazing because our shower in our trailer was so small. And when we were on the property, we only had limited water, obviously. And my kids would get in the dirt and get dirty within like 5 seconds. And so we were literally, I would look over at them in church and there's just dirt caked in their hair.
Oh,
and I'm
it's so bad.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna get CPS called on us.
We'd give them showers in the morning, and then we'd get ready for church, and they'd go outside to play because there's nowhere to hang out in the trailer. We lived outside. We didn't live in the trailer. And so while we're getting ready, they're playing in the dirt after the showers, and then we got to go to church. And so it's just this
and it
never
was just
ending
so
dirt.
hard to put all of them in the shower, and it's teeny, and then scrub it. Oh, and we didn't have the water, so you had to be fast and
fast. For me, it was hard because getting into it.
Oh, I'd
bunk my head on the thing going in, and then the shower head itself was about 4.5, 5 feet tall. I'm 6 feet tall, so I'd have to break my back to try to get into it.
Oh my gosh! So, needless to say, the showers at the RV resort. RV resort was amazing.
I got a gym membership when we first got there, and that was probably the best thing I could have ever done because I'd wake up at 5 a.m, I'd go to the gym, and then I'd take showers at the gym just so I could avoid our shower.
Yeah, that was very nice. Okay, let's talk about the property itself, and let's talk about all the good things about it.
There's a lot of good things.
Yeah, I'm not kidding when I say that our kids will still ask if we can move back to this properity because
blows my mind that they do that.
Oh my gosh, seriously, because I think back to that and I'm like, that was such a traumatizing experience for everyone. And I'm praying my kids just remember the good parts, and the fact that they keep asking if we can move back gives me hope that that's what they remember. But so let's back up. So 10 days before we moved into the trailer, so we had a rabbit, and this rabbit, we would leave our garage open just a little bit, and it would leave during the day and it would come back at night. And one day it came back with a little fella. And
little boyfriend.
About 2 weeks before we moved, Waylon goes, I think Rose is pregnant. And I was like, what? I'm like, how? What? And I was like, why do you think that? And he was like, well, she's building a nest. She was building a nest in our garage. Anyways, a few days later, there she was. I had 7 babies, and we just picked up all 7 babies and took them with us to the property, and we ended up getting a chicken coop from a friend's parents, and so we got chickens, and they were the cutest little things, and we had the chickens and the rabbits living together, and they would just like play together, and then our kids would go in there and hold the bunnies and the chickens, and then our neighbors had horses when we first moved in, and the kids would climb the fence and like pet the horses or look at the horses.
It was a good time.
And
then, they had bison in the back.
Yeah, and then those neighbors moved, and we ended up getting cows there, and it was Milford. And then Milford, and then Milford had a baby. Well, I don't know if it was.
They just bought another cow.
They just bought another cow that was like a baby, and then they had bison, and so it was like.
And our chickens just ran free. They were just free roaming chickens, which was great until because we had to eat dinners outside most of the time because our trailer was so compact. So a lot of our meals would be outside, and so the chickens would just harass our kids trying to get their food constantly. So that was fun. And
Waylon loved when we would eat chicken nuggets, and the chickens would try to eat the chickens.
So terrible. You'd attack our kids to try to get the chicken nuggets.
The property was just so beautiful. The sunrises and the sunsets, and we had a hammock set up, and our kids would climb the trees, and there was this little hillside thing that the kids would
we had a fireplace in the trees pit. Where we would cook our dinners, and
we would have friends up for bonfires, and I do think back to that, and I'm like, okay, there were some good memories.
It was a good time.
Despite all the hard and chaos and all the things that came with living in a trailer. And so I feel like it was a very, obviously it was a very hard time for us, but it was also a huge growing experience time for us. We both grew a ton during that time.
Right.
But let's talk about what because I always get asked, how did your family feel about it? And let's just say they were not a fan. Just kidding.
They were supportive. Every one of our family members were very supportive.
My family was not supportive.
But they were taking bets on how long we'd be there.
My family tried to talk me out of it so many times, and to be fair, they were not wrong for doing that. Honestly, if you think about it, they're like, you literally have 4 kids between the ages of 1 and 5, and you're gonna go live in a what are you doing? And so I don't blame them for it. But yeah, I didn't know this at the time, but apparently they had all placed bets on. One of my sisters thought we'd last 2 weeks. One of them thought we'd last 2 months. And then Waylon's brother was like, you're not making it through the winter for sure. Yeah. I think Waylon's dad and his brother Stetson are the only ones who were like, this is awesome.
They're like, we should do this.
Yeah. They're like, I love that you're doing this. This is so cool.
Yeah.
So, but they still obviously were supportive and helpful and helped us in so many ways, because we needed our kids to be babysat a lot during that time, because he was working 24/7. I decided I was going to run a marathon that year. Yeah. And then we were moving, and our kids got sick constantly, and yeah, they helped a ton with watching our kids and moving and making us dinners and all the things. So they were very helpful. But yeah, they did not think it was a good idea at all. Right. So another thing that we loved doing was, we didn't have internet or anything, but there was a TV with a DVD player in the trailer. And so we got a library card, and we would go to the library, and it felt like going to Blockbuster, you guys. We would go, and they just had up in Heber at that library, you can check out movies for free. So we would just go, and we would look at all the DVDs, and the kids would pick out some movies, and we would pick out some, and it was so fun. Lots of Little House on the Prairie, and...
Honestly, our kids had a great experience, and I can, looking back and talking about it, I understand, it was fun for them going down and to the library, and we got to pick their own movie every week, and then we got to watch it, and
playing in the dirt
all day. I mean, it's a kid's paradise.
Yeah. And with the chickens and the rabbits and oh my god.
In fact, I think back on this, and we've talked about this before. Our boys, that's all they had ever known. Up to that point, because they were little when we moved.
Well, they were 1.5.
They were 1.5, so really their core memories started in that in the trailer.
I don't know. They probably don't remember it at all, to be honest. I don't remember anything before the age of 12. 12.
Well, I know you don't. But
You remember stuff from when you were 1.5?
No, but like 2 and 3. 3. I remember stuff from when I was 3.
Yeah, but that's when we moved out.
That's true.
So I don't think they remember it,
I don't
honestly.
know. We should ask them.
Our girls definitely like.
Our girls constantly ask us to move back.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about fixing things. We had
Should we talk about the layout first?
Oh, sure.
And I guess we already talked about like the fact that we had two rooms, right?
Oh yeah.
And the sleeping arrangements and like the bathroom issues and
yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, so we had 2 bedrooms and one of the bathrooms was attached to like the master bedroom. That was the only bathroom that we were like using.
Uh-huh.
And then we tried lots of different arrangements. At the beginning, we were like, oh, we're going to sleep in the living room so that way we can make sure the kids don't go out the RV door. And then
we put the girls on one side in the master and put the boys in that back bedroom. And that way, you know.
We thought this was brilliant until we pulled out the couch and realized, oh, this is a twin spring mattress.
It was bad. It was bad.
We slept on it one night and we were like, absolutely not.
We ended up getting rid of that couch completely.
Yeah.
We ripped that whole couch out and then we put in a futon and stuff. Yeah.
So we ended up getting the master, and then we had for a long time all 4 kids sleeping in the back room. And then as they got bigger, we ended up having just the boys sleeping in the back room and the girls sleeping in the living room. So we tried several different things, but yeah, it was so bad though because the bathroom was attached to the master. Honestly, it probably didn't matter because the trailer's so small anyways. Yeah. But oh my gosh, you guys, the smell was so bad. Anytime someone had to go to the bathroom, and there's 6 of us, and I don't know about your kids, but my kids poop a lot. So
it'd be such a great night. We'd be laying in bed, and then one of the kids gets up to go to the bathroom, and we're like, dang it.
Oh my god.
Open the windows.
Oh,
it's terrible.
So bad, you guys. And so I'm just like, oh my gosh, I don't know how we did it for so long. I feel like I got claustrophobic from smells. I was like,
claustrophobic
get
in general.
me out of here. But that was one of the things, and we had several things like break during this time. Well, actually, let's talk about a lot. People ask if it's a good way to save money, and
yeah, that's good.
I would say no, unless you have very specific circumstances like we did. Like, I think the big reason we were able to save money is because, first of all, the land we were on for the majority of the time, obviously we went to the RV resort for part of it, but the land we were on for the majority of the time, we obviously weren't paying for. And then we had septic hookups, the electrical, and then the biggest thing, I think, was the fact that Waylon fixed everything himself. Mm-hmm. Like, I cannot imagine how much we would have had to spend if we would have had to send the trailer in to get all those things fixed.
Well, and let's just talk about trailers in general, or campers in general, right? The thing about campers or fifth wheel, whatever, they're not meant to live in full time. They're meant to be recreational vehicles when you're out camping or whatever. And so, yeah, our RV was older and had a lot of things break and a lot of issues, but we talked to a lot of people in the RV resorts that had the same issues, that had bought brand new, $100,000 campers. I mean, things just break, right? It's a mobile house. Things are constantly shifting and moving. So we had a lot of issues come up. One of which being we had a few electrical problems. One of the electrical, not the converter, one of the electrical things went out, and I still don't know. I don't even know what they're called now, but I just YouTubed it. Ordered the new part and
blocked it from his memory.
I blocked it from my memory. I ordered the new part, get it in. The most expensive electrical repair that we had on our RV was $2,000 for the part. Yeah. And that
was just for the part. He fixed it.
And then I had to fix it, so I pulled out the old one, undid all the wiring, rewired it.
Imagine how much that would have been if we had somebody else come figure it out.
Oh yeah, it would have been a lot. So that was probably the most expensive one. We had the heater go out, and then you had to go live with your parents with the kids for a few days while I fixed the heater. I was living with just a little space heater in.
It was in the middle of winter that our heater went out.
Yeah,
and it was
pretty bad. So I had to fix that. My kids loved the toilet of all things. They loved the fact that there was a pedal, and whenever they pushed it, the water went down. And so our kids would put their toys down the toilet.
It's super fun.
And that created a clog. I didn't realize they were putting toys down the toilet. Then it created a clog. Everything got backed up, and the only way to fix it was to open up the pipes from underneath and get the clog out. Oh, I'm still trying to. I blocked this one from my memory. This was terrible. I knew I needed to get the clog out, and I knew what I was getting myself into. So I got an old pair.
And you knew he didn't want to spend the thousands of dollars to have someone else do it.
Yeah. So I had a pair of old sweats and an old hoodie. I put them both on. I put my socks up like over my sweats, and I put gloves on. I put my hoodie over my head and cinched it up. Put plastic bags over me, and I went down in there with my gloves on, and I had a Home Depot bucket sitting right by me. And my plan was, and I thought it was foolproof, my plan was to open it and move the bucket at the same time to catch everything. And first of all, that would, I mean, if I even worked, which it didn't, it would have filled the bucket and then just kept going. I mean, there was so much. And so what happened was I went to go grab, I undid it. I went to go open it and went to grab the bucket, but the bucket like tipped over and rolled out the other way, and everything just came down all over me, all over the place, and I freaked out and like jumped out of there as fast as I could. I mean, I'm underneath the camper, right? And so I don't have that much space. So on my way out, I like smashed my arm into like a screw or something up in the camper, and I still have a scar on my arm from doing that. But oh my gosh, it was the most disgusting thing.
Sick. And
I will never recover from
I
that.
remember that.
I was bad.
Like just in so much shock as he comes out. I'm like,
it's so bad.
I'm like, what do I do?
Gosh, but finally I got it all cleaned, sprayed down, cleaned myself, got it all fixed, and then we were just a lot more strict with the bathroom.
I remember there was also those things you had to pull in order to get the sewer.
We did have to fix the pole.
And you had to fix those because I couldn't, they were like stuck.
Well, we snapped the cable. The cable snapped.
Oh my gosh. And then when we first moved in and we first started the laundry, we had flooded the bathroom.
Yeah.
And that flooded
That was
everywhere.
a big thing, because one of the things is you keep the tanks closed and then you just open them as they fill up. You don't want it to just continually run down, because then you have the residue that sits while the water goes down, and then you just build up. So you got to keep them closed, then you open them all at once. So that's what we did with the back one, with the laundry. But that had its own tank, thank goodness. But it filled up faster than we thought it would, and then it overflowed. So we ended up just keeping that one open at all times, since there was no other like food residue or like toilet paper or anything like that going down. So
it was just water.
It was just water.
Soap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And then I remember one day I had gone out of the door and the girls were outside, and somehow the twins had figured out how to lock the door.
Yeah, that's right.
And they locked the door. They're like not even 2, or maybe they were 2 at this time, but they were really little.
Well, it was the worst because it was easy to lock, but it wasn't easy to unlock.
Yes. So I'm outside the trailer with the girls, and the boys are stuck in there, and I'm like,
we're screaming at them. We're like, move it up, move it up.
Waylon was at work, but I'm like, okay. I'm like trying to explain to him, hey, there's a red lever on the door. You just have to push it. And obviously had no clue. So I'm sitting there trying to explain it to forever. So I call Waylon. I'm like, Waylon, I don't know what to do. Do I need to call a locksmith? Like, they're stuck in there. I don't even know what they're doing in there. And they were like sick at the time too. So I was just like so stressed. I like called a bunch of locksmiths. They're like, well, the soonest we can get there is in like an hour or something. And I was like, an hour? I can't have my twins in there for an hour. So Waylon luckily came home, and he was like trying to find any way to get in. And luckily there was a window that you could unscrew from the outside.
It was the emergency exit window.
Yeah.
And so the screws were on the outside.
There was like 40 screws.
There was 40 screws all the way around the window. So I took them all off. The window came off, and I was able to get in.
And then he climbed in, and we got him. But I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening? I felt like it was just thing after thing after thing. Like, before we moved in, I was the one that was like, this is going to be awesome. And then I feel like we switched places real fast. I was like, what did we just do? And Waylon was like, this is great. I'm like, oh my gosh.
So I guess we were talking about if it's worth it.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
And so I guess I can give my opinion on if it's worth it, and it depends, right? If I mean, from a financial standpoint, it worked for us, I feel like. But I think in general, no, you're not going to save money living in a camper. If you're not going to fix things yourselves. If you don't have a piece of property to be on. Because when we did go to the RV resort, we were paying $850 or $900 a month. Something like that. And that was in the winter. During the summer, I think it was double. Yeah, and we were only there in the winter for a few months, so it made it worth it for us, because then during the other months we didn't have to pay that. Plus, I mean, during the winter we were paying $300 a month for propane. Yeah. I think that the aspect of like you're living in a trailer, so you don't have space for things, so you spend less money. That's true. Unless you're like traveling, then obviously you're gonna spend more money because you're buying things and paying for gas, and you're buying experiences. Oh, so yeah, traveling you're not gonna save money. Yeah, it depends on your lifestyle with it. I also think, is it worth it? It depends on your goals, right? If your goal is like, oh, we want to build these experiences and travel. We've had friends that have traveled the U.S. with their kids and had amazing experiences. But they also were people who could pay for a hotel when they needed to send their trailer in to get fixed. They weren't saving money. They were spending a ton. I remember we met one family at the trailer park. They said they spend about $30,000 a month. That's right. And I was like, oh, what? I remember I don't know how they came into so much money, but they said, yeah, we came into all this money, and yeah, I don't remember what they said. For 6 months we've been traveling, and we've been spending about $30,000 of it a month. Yeah. And that's not including what they spent on their camper, on the truck to haul the camper. Was including that. Oh, it was? It was including their payments for their camper. Oh, the payments, yeah. Yeah, for their camper, their truck. Yeah. And then just the lifestyle they were living, the classes they would go to, the things they would do every day. And it's like, you're going to a new place, you want to try all the stuff, you want to do all the things, right? Yeah, so. But I was like, wow. So I feel like it depends on what your goals are. If your goal is to save money, maybe if you're like, you bought land and you want to live in a trailer till you build a house, depending on a lot of things, maybe it could work. Right. But for the most part, I don't think it's a great plan to save money. Just build your budget. If you want to do it, build your budget for it and then double it. And that's probably where you're going to be at in the end, right? Literally. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see. Yeah, because we bought our trailer for $15,000, and then we decided to redo it. All thanks to me. She decided to redo it. I was like, I think I always had this dream. Even when we first got married, I remember pinning like, oh, we should redo. Don't ever redo your trailer and ever. Flip it. Don't flip a trailer. It's not worth it. You can't flip a trailer. But I had all these dreams, and I was like, well, even if we don't make money on it, it'll look so cute, and we live in it, so I want it like to be better, and it won't cost us that much because you know how to do all that. So we just have to buy flooring and paint. That's all we need to do, right? So we had already ripped everything out of the camper. So they had the built-in like benches and the table. We ripped all that out. They had like the built-in couch and then the built-in bed in the kids' room. We ripped all that out and put like a nugget couch in there for that. So everything was already ripped out. So we already did that. So yeah, we just did the flooring, and then we painted all the cabinets, and then the walls we painted as well. Yeah. Is that all we did? I think that was it, right? Yeah. We painted the doors. Got new door handles. We say that was it, but we decided to do this all in one weekend, and we had to wash and sand down every single square inch of that place so that we could paint, like prep it for paint. We had to prime it, then paint it. Pulled out all the cabinet doors, the cabinets, everything. Sand them down,
like Waylon like drilled a hole in them so we could hang them on hangers, and then he had a sprayer, we would spray them.
We had all these cabinet doors. I don't know what our neighbors thought. So all around us,
so many pictures of this stuff.
We have 1 acre in the middle of all these like giant houses around us, and I mean, I don't know what they were thinking when they just see all these cabinets. There's so many cabinets in that too. How many cabinet doors do you think we did?
I don't know.
I think we counted like 48 or something cabinet doors. We had just hanging out there, like painted.
I will post pictures and videos to my Instagram
Yeah, you should.
Opinions That Change. So go follow there if you want to see some more behind the scenes of that. But yeah, oh my gosh.
It looked good though.
I mean, yeah. And then but it also like, our kids were always caked in dirt. So the white walls just had, you could wipe them down easy, but they were just, I was constantly wiping them. Like before, I feel like all of it blended in, and it made sense.
Because it was all brown.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And it made sense with like RV life. It was like, if you're in an RV, you're obviously out and camping.
Right.
And I was like, oh, it'll be great. We'll paint everything white, and oh my gosh. Anyways, and then I was like, well, at least we could probably sell it for more when we go to sell it. No. We were so over that experience. We were just ready to get rid of it. And we bought it for $15,000. We ended up selling it for $10,000, and we did keep the generator, and so we got that. But
right.
I think this experience helped us save money for the fact of we were very much in the mindset of not spending money. We don't have room for anything, and we're working all the time, right. And we're minimizing our life. So I think that's why this worked for us. Everything
we did, like Ashton says, like we did the library for our movies. We went to the park for activities with the kids. Like everything we did was either free or super cheap.
And we said no to so many social things, even if it cost like $5. We were like no, and we're gonna go way more into detail.
Why we were going so hardcore, right?
Yeah. We'll go into so much more detail, but I think that's really, I don't think a trailer is gonna solve all your problems if your goal is to like magically get out of debt and save money. But I think if you want to travel and have experiences and do all that, like go for it. That's awesome.
Probably not something we'll do again, but
I don't know, maybe one day.
Maybe just me and you.
I have a friend that they've also, I was going to say, it depends on, I think, how many kids you have, too. Because, we have a friend who has one kid. They've been doing it for 6 years, and they work at the resorts that they stay at, and they've loved it, and they've had a great experience. And obviously, they've had moments where it's been hard or not great. But also, that's with anything in life, right? Even if you're in a house, you're going to have moments that are hard and not great. So, I think it's worked really well for them, and they've loved it. So, I think it just really depends on your circumstances, but I hope that this has been informative, entertaining, helpful, whatever you wanted it to be. I hope it answered some questions. I'm happy to, if you want to comment more questions or DM me, I'm happy to answer more questions if we left stuff out. But thank you for being here, and we'll see you next week. Let's let some opinions change. Bye.